Hi there, this is Mark from graduatejobtips.com, and today I'm with Andrew Scherer from Inspiring Interns. Thanks very much for having me over.
No problem at all, cheers.
So first off, for people out there watching this, can you just tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. So Inspiring Interns was founded about 3 years ago, and our aim is to connect companies with graduates into internships, which normally lasts about 3 months. And the idea is you get some real meaningful experience, you get a good chance to get an idea about what a job involves, and in most cases you earn yourself a job at the end. So most interns will go permanent after their internship with a host organisation.
Okay. And is it open to graduates from all degree backgrounds?
Yeah, we have a very broad range of sectors we work in and job requirements. We take people from arts backgrounds, people from technical backgrounds, so IT grads, things like that, economics grads, accountancy grads, just a whole range of people.
Okay. And the internships, when I looked on your website, it seems like they're always 3 months long. Is that sort of set?
That's our normal model, a three-month internship with a view to a permanent job at the end. They can be shorter. Often we find if an intern's doing really well and learns very quickly, the company will offer them a permanent position in under 3 months.
Okay.
But we say 3 months is the maximum because we kind of feel that's the maximum amount of time you need to learn a role and really get some good experience.
Yes. And they're unpaid internships, or are some of them paid?
It's a mixture. Some of them are paid. Some of them are lunch and travel expenses. That's the minimum you get on an internship. It really depends what the internship is. If it's predominantly a learning experience where you're just getting experience and sort of seeing what it's like, what working life is like in a company doing a particular role, then it's probably more likely to be expenses. Whereas if you're going in and expected to contribute to the company from the word go, then it'll be paid.
I see. Okay. What about those graduates perhaps that really want to do an internship, but to do something that's unpaid for 3 months is just not viable for them? Perhaps they're living in London and the expenses in the city are really high.
Yeah.
How do you cater towards those graduates who really need to at least have a little bit of pay coming in every month?
Sure. Well, we have a partnership with the job centres, with the Job Centre Plus, so that candidates can continue to receive job seekers allowance while they're doing an internship. And also job centres often contribute to the travel costs as well. So interns never out of pocket, and also they can continue to receive their benefits while they're doing an internship. So it's a great chance to get some experience without suffering financially.
Yeah. Okay. That's a nice collaboration there, actually. Okay. And then predominantly, are there certain sectors that stand out from others in terms of the number of internships that come through you?
We're quite strong on communication areas, and particularly in newer industries, things like tech and digital and mobile in particular.
Right.
Often because we find graduates are quite well set up to move into these kind of industries because they're already quite tech focused and digital focused. Most graduates know their way around Facebook and Twitter. So if, say, a company's looking for someone who might come in and do their social media, then graduates already have a bit of background in that and can go into that area quite comfortably. It's a great way for them to learn how to apply skills they already have into a commercial environment. And also with things like mobile and digital industries, they're growing industries and the companies in them are growing and new and exciting. So there's a great scope for progression and it's a great way to get in on the ground floor of a growing sector.
Okay, yeah. I think, as you said, the social media platforms are huge right now, but it is, in relatively speaking, quite a new sort of area, or new space. And I think, as you say, a lot of the younger generation, we all sort of have these skills just because we use these channels of communication every day. But I think eventually there's going to have to be some sort of course or standard put in place so that people can maybe have something more tangible to show a prospective employer to say, hey, I'm qualified in all the major social media channels.
Sure.
Do you think that's something that
I think it's likely.
Yeah,
I think the market within sort of social media marketing is still quite young and still has a way to go before it matures. And to that extent, there's still probably some people out there who are selling their wares as social media experts who aren't necessarily particularly expert within that field. But I think you will see qualifications coming in. you can already do things like Google qualifications online, which are fairly inexpensive and quite quick, and you can do them at home.
Right.
There's other companies out there like eConsultancy who offer courses which are very good at giving you basic training.
Okay.
But at the moment, I think you'll see if you're able to demonstrate some tangible benefits that you've given to a company through doing social media work, be it increased hits on the website, better conversion rate of customers, which are quite easy to do with the analytics tools available at the moment, then that almost sort of speaks for itself in terms of qualifications and ability.
Yeah. Also, I noticed that part of what you offer at Inspiring Interns is a video CV.
Yes.
How has that sort of been received by prospective employers?
Very well on the whole. It just gives them an extra chance to see you, to see your personality, almost act like a first round interview in a sense. And just gives you a chance to sort of come off the paper and be a little bit more than just a one-page or a two-page CV, and sort of highlight the kind of key things in your employment and education history that you think will be of value to employers.
Okay.
We also find the creative industries, it's a great way to people be a little bit more creative with what they're doing. We have candidates who come and done Bob Dylan style, holding up signs and throwing them away like the Bob Dylan video.
Oh right, yeah. Okay, so they've come in creatively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great way to
ignore the phone. I couldn't silence that one. It's a new phone, so I don't know how to do it.
They're always different.
It'll stop soon. Okay.
But yeah, so it's a great way, particularly if you're a little bit creative and you're going for a creative job, then it's a great way to showcase your skills and your creativity.
Okay, and sort of graduates would come in here and actually and do all of that.
Yes, so we have facilities in here where the graduates are coming. We do, if you're invited into our office, we'll spend about 35-40 minutes with you, interviewing you, getting to know you a bit better, getting an idea about your background, what might interest you, show you some kind of roles that might be the right kind of ones for you, so we get an idea of what your interests are and what would be right for you. And then we film the video CV, which is typically only a minute or so. And as I said, just gives you a chance to showcase yourself a bit better to employers.
Okay, nice. And then in terms of the companies that you work with, roughly how many do you have on board at the moment?
At any given time, we probably have anything up to 100 different roles on with various companies. I mean, over the course of Inspiring Interns, we've probably worked with 800 or so different
right.
firms
Okay.
over the last 3 years. So there are quite a few opportunities out there.
Okay, and would most of those companies definitely look at the video CVs before making a decision on who they invite?
So I mean, quite often companies come to us and they'll say find us online and go to our website and see that we have the video CVs on our website, so they can almost browse them and pre-select candidates themselves.
Okay.
So it's almost like you can put yourself in the shop window for employers through our website.
Yes.
And we also, when we work with clients, they'll come to us and give us their kind of requirements, and we can send them a short list of people we think would be best for them, and that includes their video CV and their normal CV. Most times a candidate's video CV will be a big part of their application.
Okay, no, that's great. Do you think, because there are a few other companies doing the same thing in the space, do you think it's here to stay, or do you think it's maybe just a fad?
No, I think it's now going to be sort of embedded in future job applications and the way people go about things. Because anything that makes you stand out from the crowd, anything that makes you make it more likely for an employer to have a look at you, have a look at your application, is always going to be good. And video CVs, when they're done well, will do that for you. Undoubtedly, there's some great examples of, if you just YouTube video CV, you'll find lots of great examples of people who've done it and got jobs because they've been a bit creative and got themselves out there.
There was actually a great one, it was about 6 months ago, there was a guy called from Canada, Matthew Epstein, and he really wanted a job at Google. Yeah. So he created a webpage called googlehire.me, and it was a video, it was probably about 5 to 7 minutes long. Professional video. I think he said he spent about $3,000 doing it.
Oh, really?
Very professionally done. And just very engaging. I think it got over 1 million hits on YouTube. It went viral for a few weeks. Yeah. The funny thing is he got the interview at Google but never got the job.
Oh, really?
But then obviously, because of that exposure, he got a really nice job somewhere else. Because he was really articulate and well presented. So that when I saw that really grabbed me, and I do think as well it's definitely a format that's going to stay.
Yeah, I mean, sort of talking about innovative ways to get yourself in front of employers as well. There's been great stories of people who've found out the names of CEOs of companies they want to work with, and bought the CEOs' names on Google AdWords. And it costs them 50p or £1 or something like that. Yeah. So when the CEO, who normally are sort of fairly interested in themselves, Google their own name, the candidate's advert will come up saying, "Hire me."
I haven't heard of that before.
Here's my CV. Click on the link to see my CV, and it's got people jobs. So there's
that's interesting.
With the digital sort of world developing, there's more opportunities for people to be a bit creative and get themselves out there.
Okay. Just moving on a little bit about yourself. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I understand you authored the book that's sort of come out of this company called Brilliant Intern.
Yeah.
Could you just tell us a little bit more about that and what it covers?
Sure. So there aren't, or when I wrote it, there weren't any real books out there on the market for people who are looking to get into internships and wondering how they do that or what they do while they're doing an internship. So being sort of experts on the subject, we thought it would be good to put together a guide for people that would talk them through the process. So the book covers how to find the best internship for you. So everything from writing an internship-specific cover letter to interview technique. It then moves into what to do while you're there, so how to make the most of your internship, how to get the best out of it. And there's lots of great little tips in there, like things like keeping a diary while you're doing your internship every day. So you can look back at it at the end and you can see all the different things you've learned and pick out the right stuff for your CV for a different job application. Whereas if you don't keep a diary, you don't remember absolutely everything you do in, say, a 3-month internship. So lots of little tips like that. And how to network with colleagues and your boss and so on and so forth. And then the final section is what to do after the internship. So how you can convert that into a full-time job, or how you can use the experience that you've got from your internship to go on and get a job elsewhere.
Okay. And that's available on Amazon, other
it's in all online bookstores. If you walk into Waterstones, it's in most branches of Waterstones I've checked.
Okay.
Can't walk past the Waterstones without having a look.
Of course.
It's very widely available.
Okay, and the price roughly?
It's about £10.
£10. Okay, great. I'll put a link up on my blog for that as well. And one other thing, I suppose, for a lot of graduates watching this now, they're thinking, should I do an internship? Is it really going to be worth my while? You mentioned earlier that there is quite a high conversion rate from the interns to getting a job in a company. Do you have a rough figure? I mean, is there
for us, it's about 65%.
65%.
So around 2/3 of people will get a job where they're working and stay there. Of the remainder, the majority will either have already got a job through their because of the extra experience they've got from their internship, or they'll go on to get a job fairly soon after their internship because of the extra experience. So we find that it really does help people get into work. I would say if you're not going through an agency or if you're just trying to find something of your own back, it's a perfectly viable way of doing it, but you just have to be a little bit careful. So obviously there are some companies out there who will look to exploit people, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's become a talking point in recent times.
Yeah, very much so. There's lots of media.
T-boy is now rearing its head again.
Exactly. And there's lots of media. There's lots of media out there talking about bad internships. So the best thing to do, and I talk about this a little bit in the book, is before you start an internship, make sure you know what the company wants you to do. Make sure the company's had serious thoughts about what they want you to be doing during the internship. Make sure it's structured. Make sure you know who's going to be looking after you while you're there. You can go to with any problems. Who's going to be giving you feedback and things like that. And that will tend to weed out any people who are maybe looking to take advantage of you. And when it's well structured and the company's put some real thought into it, you're going to benefit from it. The company will hopefully benefit from it. And there's a far greater chance that you get a full-time job at the end.
Okay. Also, you sometimes come across individuals who are like what I call serial interns. They've done one after the other. Do you think that can be detrimental to someone's sort of CV if they end up doing too many internships?
Not necessarily. I think it's the kind of thing where if if you have done a lot of internships for whatever reason, whether it's because you didn't get offered a job or because you wanted to try lots of different areas, it's not necessarily detrimental. I just think it's the kind of thing you need to explain either in a cover letter or in a video CV. Explain your background, explain why you've done a few different ones, so the company can understand where you're coming from and not look at it and dismiss it as someone who's done lots of different ones and maybe isn't worth hiring.
And once again, there are also some internships that are, in my opinion, quite long-winded and drawn out.
Yeah.
6 months to sometimes even a year. I mean, do you think that is pushing it a little bit in terms of doing an internship?
Absolutely. As I said at the start, our internships are 3 months as the maximum. We feel that's the sort of most time you need to really get a good understanding of a role and get the experience you need from an internship. If someone is offering an internship longer than 3 months, we would always say it has to be paid because it goes from being a learning experience to someone really doing a job.
Added value.
Exactly. You start adding value to the company. And if you do find yourself in a situation where an internship's only gone on 3 months and they're saying, "Oh, do you want to stay on for another couple of months? Unfortunately, we can't pay you." I think you should just be ready to put your foot down and stand up for yourself a little bit. And at any point during an internship, the great thing about unpaid internships is you can walk away at any point. There's no obligations to the employer. So it's a great way to try out a job before you really sort of try and get your feet under the table in the career, as it were. So if it's not going well, obviously speak to your boss or speak to your mentor or whoever's looking after you at the company. But if you can't resolve any differences or any issues, just the right thing to do is get up and leave. And don't become one of those people who's been there for 6 months, a year, and sort of exploited like that.
Yeah. And then sort of finally, if there's any sort of, what sort of tips or incentives could you give to listeners out there who are, as I say, contemplating maybe doing an internship but are just not sure of the value it might present to them at the end? What are the sort of 3 things that you would say to them right now?
In terms of the
benefits that they can receive?
I think, the first main benefit is getting some real professional experience. 3 months is a good length of time to demonstrate. It's not just sort of a 2-week work experience thing where you're in an office and there for a couple of weeks and leave quickly and you haven't really got anything to show from it. 3 months gives you a great chance to really get to know a role, really get some good experience and get some really worthwhile stuff to put on your CV, which will then sell yourself to an employer. The second thing I would say is networking. Networking is hugely important. The old cliche of it's who you know, not what you know, unfortunately does apply. And it's important to build up a professional network. So an internship gives you a great chance to network with individuals within the company, within an industry. Possibly people who are going to be taking decisions on hiring. So an internship is a great way to network and do that. And finally, I would say doing an internship is a good way just to get a good understanding of a job. So you get the experience, you get to network, and also you get to find out if something's right for you.
Yeah, it's a good way to sort of test that particular sector or that job function.
Exactly.
To see if you actually get on and if it's something that you would enjoy going forward.
Yeah, many times you might leave university, a lot of our candidates come to us and say, "Oh, we want to be management consultants." And you say to them, "Oh, why do you want to be a management consultant?" And after a bit of digging, it turns out it's actually just because they saw Accenture at a careers fair and got a pen from them. And they didn't necessarily know any better. They don't really know what a management consultant does or what kind of role it is or whether it would be right for them. So an internship gives you a great chance to try something out before really committing to a career.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. We've actually got a game of table tennis to play now because I'm filming on a table tennis table. So thanks very much for your time and we'll see you next time.